In. It's an off-road edition, a bit of gravel, if I'm allowed to say that word. Seems to be quite a trigger word for a lot of people, this gravel. Even though I think in various different forms it's a lot older than the photogenic marketing department's delight that we see nowadays. More on that later. Today I'm riding in the West Breton Hall, towards Silkstone, that kind of area, and it's going to be a mix, maybe 50-50 bridleways, easy tracks, some tarmacadam. Just, I don't really have a route planned. I'm sure that all the tracks and trails are featured on the channel in various forms in last autumn when I did a little gravel series, but I'll just link them together as I feel. It's a nice day, lots of sunshine, a bit of an east wind, but it's just a nice day for sort of pottering around and enjoying a bit of pedalling. I didn't bring any hands-free stuff, so off-road I'm going to be limited to what I can film. It's just the old handheld and the tripod again. But I just thought I'd stop and do a pan round, have a look at this kind of countryside. Not bad for an area of land between Huddersfield, Wakefield, Barnsley, you know. Pass through the sculpture park. I'm grinding away now on a nice dry, can we call it gravel? Nice dry bridleway anyway. Heading on some nice gravelly bridleways now towards Silkstone area. We're riding now on some crackly gravel, heading towards one of the big off-road climbs up to Silkstone Common. Again, without any hands-free, I won't be able to show it, but I'm sure on one of the other videos, link, there'll be some footage of it. After the farm, it gets gravelly. I've ridden about 24 miles now, been riding for a little over 2 hours, various stops for taking pictures and doubling back, and just generally enjoying the day because it's a lovely day for pottering. The wind's starting to pick up, as they said, but sunny, warmer than winter, and I've got about the same distance to ride now. This is probably the furthest point out, and I'll be heading for I'll head for the old Pennine trail and ride a bit of Tarmacadam railway line and make my way to home Firth, I think. Let's have a look around. That's the direction we're heading, Oxspring and Penistone. Caption competition. I've been back to cycling about a year, and I haven't really paid attention to equipment, clothing, trends in cycling since about 2010. So, you know, it's been quite a steep learning curve really. All the new names, new brands, new pieces of equipment, what passes for standard, what passes for, you know, with quick release, through axles, all that kind of thing. And one of the polarizing debates that struck me, as well as rim brakes versus discs, was how the term gravel gravel bike can really polarize people. I've seen it on YouTube comments and things like that. People get really angry about it. They see gravel biking as being some new super trendy import from America, and they say that, you know, oh, there's no gravel in Britain, get a mountain bike. Everybody, we all know the arguments pro and for and against, but one of the things that struck me is that I was gravel biking years before I'd ever heard of that term. And I'm sure, I mean, I'm only going back to the 90s, but you go back to things like the Rough Stuff Fellowship, which I think started in the 50s, maybe an offshoot of the CTC, I'm not sure, but they were taking touring bikes to the Alps. I think they even went to Everest Base Camp. They were taking them all over Britain, Wales, the Lake District, and sure, they were carrying them in places and pushing them, but touring bikes were going to all kinds of off-road inaccessible places. And even, to cite an example, my dad, as a teenager, I think it was Easter 1948, he went with a friend, they packed the saddlebags on their sports model bikes, as they were called, flat handlebars and 3 or 4 speed, I'm not sure, might have been 3 speed Sturmey Archer, and they cycled from Leeds to Keswick day 1. Then day 2 they went from Keswick Youth Hostel down Borriddle to Seathwaite and over Styhead Pass to Wasdale, and then down to Westdale Youth Hostel. I mean, now that would be like, you wouldn't dream of trying that on a road bike or a touring. I wouldn't try it on a gravel bike, but they were doing that on these very, very basic bikes. I rode the 4 passes, which includes Styhead, on a fully rigid mountain bike with cantilever brakes in 1997, and yeah, some of the descents were pretty scary on that sort of gear, but it was doable. I had to dismount in places, carry, walk, whatever, but you did it. And I think with that mindset you can trace gravel, rough stuff type riding on touring bikes, drop handlebar bikes. You can trace it right back to the very early days, pre-tarmac, go back to the 20s. And I think, you know, sort of objecting to gravel as a concept, it's a little bit closed off. I see that it's a marketing man's dream. I see that the moody photography and all the sort of romantic poetry cliches that are trotted out in relation to gravel. But I think if you strip all that away, there's some really nice riding to be had. Good, honest landscapes and cycling that's just fantastic. I suppose my approach to gravel, being a completely hopeless mountain biker, I look upon it as rambling. It's like, you know, rambling or hill walking, but on a bike. I'm sure that doesn't line up with the marketing, but that's what I enjoy. So you won't be seeing me anytime soon in moody shots with photogenic catwalk models. That's the only reason why. Riding on 35mm tyres today. They blow up closer to 37, but on the sidewall it says 35. Good all-rounders. Well, I've ridden about 34 miles. I'm halfway now between Dumford Bridge and Hades Edge, and then I'll be swooping down, I think, to Home Firth, because I'm on an off day, or a day off, shall I say. I'm going to try and take the flattest route home, lazy. So yeah, I'm not sure what this led it together, but out under wheel it's been a fantastic day. Sunny, a bit breezy, but just very, very pleasant. That's all for this edition, and I'll see you probably back on the road for the next edition of Clipping In.